Hello and welcome to News Tonight on Rajya Sabha TV. I'm Tina Jha. Let's take a look at what's making headlines this Saturday evening. Ahead of the start of the winter session of Parliament from Monday, Lok Sabha Speaker Om Birla meets leaders of all parties in Delhi, appeals for their cooperation in running the House smoothly. Rajya Sabha Chairman M. Venkaiah Naidu to meet all party leaders tomorrow. On National Press Day, Vice President advises media houses to resist temptation to sensationalize news, underscores that real journalism is all about serving public and national interest. Union Minister Prakash Javadekar calls fake news a bigger threat than paid news. Relief for Maharashtra farmers. Governor Bhagat Singh Koshyari announces assistance of 8,000 rupees per hectare up to 2 hectares for kharif crops lost due to unseasonal rains, 18,000 rupees per hectare up to 2 hectares for horticulture crops. After record air pollution, National Capital Delhi now ranked lowest in the quality of tap water. In a list of 21 big cities, Mumbai fares the best. Union Minister Ram Vilas Paswan says report is an effort towards improving drinking water standards. And Team India win indoor test by an innings and 130 runs. Following on in the second innings, Bangladesh all out for 213 runs. Mayank Agarwal judged man of the match for his double century. Lok Sabha Speaker Om Birla has appealed to the leaders of all political parties for their cooperation to ensure smooth functioning of the House. An all-party meeting chaired by the Speaker, which was also attended by Prime Minister Narendra Modi, opposition leaders and union ministers, was held at the Parliament Library. The winter session of Parliament will begin from Monday and conclude on 13 December. After the meeting, Om Birla said the issues raised by the opposition during the meeting will be discussed in the House after discussion in the Business Advisory Committee. Also during the meeting, the issue of air pollution was raised by some leaders, which is likely to be discussed during the upcoming winter session. The government has also called an all-party meeting on Sunday.
सभी राजनीतिक दलों के नेताओं से, फ्लोर के नेताओं से चर्चा हुई है और जो मुद्दे, जो विषय उन्हें रखे गए हैं, हम कोशिश करेंगे कि बिजनेस एडवाइजरी कमेटी में उस पर चर्चा करके उन मुद्दों पर संसद में चर्चा की जाए। सभी राजनीतिक दलों ने भरोसा दिलाया है कि 17वीं लोकसभा का पहला सत्र जिस तरीके से सुचारू रूप से चला, सभी राजनीतिक दल के नेताओं का सहयोग रहा, सभी माननीय सदस्यों का सहयोग रहा। मैंने फिर अपेक्षा की है कि 130 करोड़ जनता का ये लोकतंत्र का मंदिर जो जनता के प्रति जवाबदेही है, हम सब मिलकर कोशिश करें कि सदन सुचारू रूप से चले, व्यवस्थित रूप चले, अच्छी वाद विवाद हो, चर्चा हो, जनता के मुद्दे यहाँ पर उठाए जाएं और सभी राजनीतिक दलों ने विश्वास दिलाया है कि सत्र हम सब मिलकर सबकी सहमति से ठीक से चलाने का प्रयास करेंगे।
Ahead of the historic 250th session of Rajya Sabha, Chairman M. Venkaiah Naidu has convened a meeting of Rajya Sabha MPs from various parties on 17th November. The meeting will be held at Chairman Naidu's official residence. The ensuing session coincides with the 70th anniversary of the adoption of the Indian Constitution by the Constituent Assembly and the celebration of the 150th birth anniversary of Mahatma Gandhi. This session also follows a highly productive 249th session of Rajya Sabha, the best in the last several years. The winter session of Parliament begins on 18th November and is to end on 13th December. Let's now look at the bills that are likely to be taken up in the upcoming winter session of Parliament. The key bills in the Lok Sabha include the Citizenship Amendment Bill 2019, the Arms Amendment Bill 2019, National River Ganga Bill 2019, the Personal Data Protection Bill, which aims to regulate collection, usage, transfer and disclosure of personal data. And 38 bills are pending in the upper house, including Interstate River Disputes Amendment Bill 2019, the Transgender Rights Protection Bill 2019, the Dam Safety Bill 2019, the Constitution 125th Amendment Bill 2019. Vice President M. Venkaiah Naidu on Saturday came down heavily on sensationalization of news and said sensational news means senseless news. He said this while addressing an event on National Press Day in Delhi.
Addressing an event on National Press Day in Delhi, Vice President M. Venkaiah Naidu expressed concern over the misuse of media. Commenting on the present trend of business groups and political parties starting their own newspapers and channels, the Vice President lamented that they are promoting vested interests and compromising the journalistic values. Naidu called sensationalizing news, prejudiced coverage and paid news the big challenges facing media.
News and views are being clubbed together. That is the problem. They should be easily distinguishable. You have got every right to convey your views. But first you must all convey the news. The cardinal principle of journalism is to present fair, objective, accurate and balanced information to the reader and viewer without journalists assuming the role of the gatekeepers. Information should be pure, should be original. We, the Indian press, must protect the interest of India, promote the interest of the country, propagate the values and virtues of our system.
The Vice President recalled a significant role the press had played in creating awareness during the freedom struggle. Referring to the 1975 emergency, he said there was an attempt to suppress the voice of the press that was fiercely opposed by journalists like Ramnath Goenka.
Press has been playing an outstanding role in empowering the people. The press played a pioneering and stellar role in inspiring the masses to fight against the British during the freedom struggle and in strengthening the democratic foundations in the country since independence. The blank editorial published by the Indian Express during the emergency under the leadership of Sri Ramnath Goenka ji was perhaps one of the strongest protests ever published against censorship in India. It spoke more loudly than any words could have.
Union Minister for Information and Broadcasting Prakash Javadekar said the bigger threat today is not paid news but fake news.
आजादी के बाद ये खत्म हुआ, एक तरह से प्रेस समाप्त आजाद हुआ, लेकिन एक ही बार उस पर आँच आई 1975 में। कुछ समाचार पत्रों ने बहुत अच्छा एक धैर्य दिखाया, एक धाड़स दिखाया, लेकिन अनेक समाचार पत्र मैं देख रहा था कि ऐसे नहीं थे, वो झुक गए। तो इसलिए प्रेस को सही में खुद की कीमत समझने का ये दिवस है और रिस्पॉन्सिबिलिटी समझने का भी दिवस है, क्योंकि कोई भी फ्रीडम मुफ्त में नहीं होता।
Earlier, the Vice President honored several journalists for their excellent work. Eminent journalist and chairman of Rajasthan Patrika Gulab Kothari was awarded the Raja Ram Mohan Roy Award. Sanjay Saini, correspondent Dainik Bhaskar Mandi, and Raj Chengappa, Group Editorial Director India Today, have been jointly awarded for rural journalism. Shiva Swaroop Avasthi, senior reporter of Dainik Jagran, and Anu Abraham, sub-editor of Mathrubhumi in Calicut, were awarded for development reporting. On the occasion, the Vice President also released a souvenir, a directory of the Press Council of India and the Norms of Journalistic Conduct edition 2019. Mohammad Fateh Tipu's report for Rajya Sabha TV.
Home Minister Amit Shah on Saturday said that the development of the tribal communities is the priority of the Narendra Modi government. Inaugurating the National Tribal Festival, Adi Mahotsav in New Delhi, the Home Minister said whenever the BJP came to power, it always worked for the welfare of tribal communities. The theme of the 15-day Mahotsav is a celebration of the spirit of tribal culture, craft, cuisine and commerce. For the first time, the Adi Mahotsav is showcasing a wide range of products from the tribal artisans from Leh in Ladakh. 254 stalls have been set up and 1,000 tribal artisans and artists are participating in the tribal festival. Tribal Affairs Minister Arjun Munda also attended the event.
हमारे देश के प्रधानमंत्री नरेंद्र मोदी जी की वन धन सेंटर की संकल्पना, इस संकल्पना के लिए देश भर में बसते 40% भूभाग और 8% जनसंख्या के साथ देश को कई प्रकार से संभालने वाले सभी आदिवासी भाइयों बहनों की ओर से मैं मोदी जी का धन्यवाद करना चाहता हूं कि इन्होंने संकल्पना कर देश भर के गरीब से गरीब आदिवासी कारीगर को, हस्तकर्मी को, कलाकार को एक मंच और एक प्लेटफॉर्म देने का काम किया है। देश भर के करोड़ों आदिवासी भाइयों को, बहनों को नरेंद्र मोदी जी की ओर से आश्वस्त करना चाहता हूं कि आपका विकास नरेंद्र मोदी सरकार की प्राथमिकता है। आपकी संस्कृति को जरा भी क्षत विकसित करे बगैर आपका विकास हो, आपके जीवन स्तर को बढ़ाने का काम ये नरेंद्र मोदी सरकार करेगी।
अपने ही घर में शरणार्थी की तरह रहने के लिए विवश होना पड़ रहा है और उस व्यवस्था को, उस दीवार को समाप्त करते हुए, तोड़ते हुए एक नई दरवाजा खोली जाए जहां सबको यह अनुभव हो कि पूरा देश हमारा है और हम देश के हैं।
Maharashtra Governor Bhagat Singh Koshyari on Saturday took stock of the damage to crops caused by unseasonal rains during the month of October and November. After carrying out the inspection, he announced financial relief to the affected farmers, a relief of 8,000 rupees per hectare up to 2 hectares for agricultural kharif crops and a relief of 18,000 rupees per hectare up to 2 hectares for horticulture and perennial crops will be provided to farmers in Maharashtra. In addition to this, the governor also announced exemption of land revenue to the affected areas and exemption of examination fees of schools and colleges to the wards of farmers whose crops suffered damages. The governor also directed the state administration to disburse the relief immediately. Time for a short break here, but news and updates will continue on the other side. Do stay with us. Welcome back. You're watching News Tonight. Mumbai is the only city whose tap water meets the pipe drinking water quality standards set by the Bureau of Indian Standards, according to a study of 21 capital cities released on Saturday. While Delhi has the most unsafe tap water, with all samples failing on several parameters. The national capital is one of the 13 cities where all samples have failed to meet the BIS norms. Kolkata and Chennai also failed in almost 10 out of 11 quality parameters tested by the Bureau of Indian Standards, which is under the aegis of the Consumer Affairs Ministry. Releasing the second phase study, Consumer Affairs Minister Ramvilas Paswan said that the solution to this problem is to make compliance of quality standards for piped water mandatory across the country. He also said that drinking water testing will be completed by 15 January next year in as many as 100 smart cities.
जो लोगों को स्वच्छ पानी पीने की व्यवस्था क्या कहते हैं कि हो जाए, ये हमारा कमिटमेंट है और हम इसके लिए प्रतिबद्ध हैं। और इसके लिए हम मतलब हमने राज्य सरकार को पत्र भी लिखा है। जो भी राज्य सरकार हमसे मदद चाहे, राज्य सरकार अपने ही क्रेडिट ले ले। हमको तो सबसे ज़्यादा खुशी उस दिन होगी जिस दिन ये मालूम पड़ेगा कि जो नल का पानी है पीने लायक हो गया है और आम गरीब लोग, कोई भी आदमी बेधड़क जो है वो पानी क्या कहते हैं कि पी रहे हैं। 20 काज क्या कहते हैं कि हमारे पास में क्या कहते हैं कि वो आ गया है। बाकी ये जो 100 क्या कहते हैं जो स्मार्ट सिटी है उसका क्या कहते हैं कि हम लोगों ने टारगेट उसको हम लोगों ने फिक्स कर दिया है 31 दिसंबर तक हैं, 15 जनवरी। अच्छा, तो 15 जनवरी को 15 जनवरी को किया है। उसको जो है 16-17 जनवरी को फिर आप लोगों को हम जो है तो उसका क्या कहते हैं कि रिपोर्ट देंगे। और थर्ड में हम लोग थर्ड स्टेज में डिस्ट्रिक्ट में क्या कहते हैं चलेंगे, उसको हम लोगों ने 15 अगस्त तक किया है।
Notification was issued on Saturday for the third phase of polls in 17 seats spread across 7 districts in Jharkhand, and the process of filing nominations has also commenced in these seats. The last date of filing of nominations to these seats is 25th November, while scrutiny will be held the next day, that is on the 26th. Candidates can withdraw their names till 26th November. The 81-member Jharkhand Assembly will go to polls in 5 phases between 30th November and 20th December, while counting of votes will be taken up on 23rd December. The BJP on Saturday released its 4th list of candidates in Jharkhand. The party has named candidates from 3 constituencies: Jugsalai, which is a reserved seat for SC, Jagannathpur, a reserved seat for ST, and again the Tamar seat, which is also reserved for the scheduled tribes. The BJP has so far announced its candidates for a total of 71 seats. After the Supreme Court's ruling in the Rafale deal case, the BJP on Saturday staged a nationwide protest seeking an apology from Congress leader Rahul Gandhi. The party said Rahul Gandhi and the Congress party tried to mislead the country on the issue. The BJP also said the Congress attempted to tarnish the image of Prime Minister Narendra Modi over the Rafale issue. Remember, the Apex Court on Thursday gave a clean chit to the Modi government on the purchase of 36 fully loaded Rafale fighter jets from the Dassault Aviation, rejecting the petition seeking review of its last year order. While the Congress party announced on Saturday that it will launch a massive Bharat Bachao rally at Ram Leela Maidan on 30th November. The Congress held a meeting of its general secretaries, chiefs of its frontal organizations, department heads, state unit chiefs and CLP leaders. The meeting was called to discuss the agitation program against the central government's anti-people policies, that's what the Congress party called it, especially economic slowdown, farmers' distress, huge unemployment and other issues. The party plans to hold agitations in various parts of the country till 25th November. The 2-day International Literature Festival began in Noida from Saturday. On the first day of the festival, discussions were held on subjects like environmental health, horror, fiction writing, India's rising soft power, Hindi literature, English fiction, women empowerment, among others. Eminent personalities from India and abroad, including writers, artists, academicians, scholars, publishers, politicians, journalists, as well as analysts are taking part in the festival.
सिनेमा को मैं हमेशा ये मान के चलता हूँ कि सिनेमा जो है वो सोसाइटी का आईना है, वो वही दिखाता है जो सोसाइटी पे हम कर रहे होते हैं। जो सोसाइटी जिस दौर से गुजर रही होती है, जैसे पोस्ट इंडिपेंडेंस हमारे फिल्म मेकर्स थे, जैसे गुरुदत्त थे, बिमल रॉय थे, उन्होंने जो इश्यूज उठाए फ्यूडल सिस्टम और समझ रहे हैं, जो बड़ी इन्फेंट डेमोक्रेसी हमारी थी, उन्होंने वो इशू हैंडल।
In some other national news, the Lord Ayyappa temple in Sabrimala in Kerala opened on Saturday for the annual pilgrim season. Amid tight security, a large number of devotees from Kerala, Tamil Nadu and other neighbouring states started arriving at the holy shrine for the 2-month-long annual pilgrimage. The Supreme Court had on Thursday referred the review petitions challenging the lifting of the ban that prevented women from entering the Sabrimala temple to a larger 7-judge bench. India on Saturday successfully conducted the first night trial of Agni 2, its versatile surface-to-surface, medium-range nuclear-capable missile, from Dr. Abdul Kalam Island off the Odisha coast. The missile has a strike range of 2,000 kilometers. The missile blasted off from a mobile launcher at the Launch Complex 4 of the Integrated Test Range. Agni 2, an intermediate-range ballistic missile, has already been inducted into the armed forces. A defense official also said this was the first time that the sophisticated missile was test-fired at night. And now let's talk about environment and climate change. Food and Agriculture Organization and the Global Environment Facility have teamed up in a new $7.1 million project to make forest data more transparent, accessible and available. This project will help countries to track their progress towards the sustainability goals as they adopt climate change mitigation measures and also towards sustainable land management. The project will provide an essential platform for more transparent forest-related data. It will help countries track the well-being of their green cover while helping them analyze what needs to be done next. It will also help developing countries in particular to meet the requirements of the Paris Climate Agreement. Under the agreement, countries are expected to make efforts to limit the planet's temperature increase to 1.5 degrees Celsius and also invest in ways to strengthen their ability to deal with the impacts of climate change. And on to some sports news now. India defeated Bangladesh by an innings and 130 runs in the first test in Indore on Saturday. India wrapped up the series opener inside 3 days as Bangladesh were bowled out for 213 runs in their second innings. India declared their first innings at 493 for 6 after bowling out Bangladesh for 150 in the visitors' first essay. In their second innings, Bangladesh were bundled out for just 213 runs. India now lead the two-match series 1-0. And that's it from us in this bulletin. Thank you very much for your time.